What happens when one of music's greatest living legends walks into a talk show expecting celebration, but walks out humiliated instead? In just 36 seconds, a single moment of arrogance shattered what should have been a tribute, and turned live television into a masterclass in disrespect. Before we pull back the curtain, hit that subscribe button, because what you're about to hear exposes the side of fame they never want you to see, where power and ego collide and respect becomes optional. We've got the footage, the fallout, and the truth behind one of the most uncomfortable interviews to ever air. So, let's set the stage. Chaka Khan, 10-time Grammy winner, the voice behind I'm Every Woman, Ain't Nobody, and Through the Fire. A name synonymous with power, passion, and soul. She walks onto the set of the Tamron Hall show, ready to talk about her life, her legacy, her art. She's not just another guest, she's history personified. The audience rises, applause fills the room, and for a moment everything feels right. Cameras flash. Tamron Hall greets her with a bright, TV-ready smile. But beneath that smile, something feels off. You can sense it. The warmth isn't real. The air feels charged, like a storm building quietly behind polite laughter. Chaka takes her seat, radiant, regal, every bit the queen of funk she's always been. And then without warning, the tone shifts. Instead of beginning with praise, Tamron opens with a dagger wrapped in words. She leans forward, smile still fixed, and asks, "So, Chaka, let's talk about the past. The rumors, the struggles, the controversies. How does it feel knowing that's what people remember about you?" The room goes silent. The question hangs in the air like smoke. That's how she starts, with accusation, with disrespect. Chaka's expression hardens, but she doesn't lose her composure. She's weathered storms far worse than this. With quiet strength, she answers, "Well, first of all, that's not what people remember. They remember the music. They remember joy. They remember songs that became the soundtrack of their lives. Yes, I've had my battles, but I overcame them. I'm still here, still creating, still grateful. So maybe we can focus on that. It's the perfect response, graceful, measured, dignified. Any good host would pivot, apologize, or at least show some humility. But Tamron doesn't. She doubles down. A smirk flickers across her face as she asks, "Come on, Chaka. Be honest. Your career peaked in the 80s. The younger generation barely knows who you are. Isn't it time to accept that your moment has passed?" The air is sucked out of the room. You can hear the gasp ripple through the crowd. Chaka straightens in her chair. The queen is awake now. Her eyes lock on the host, and in that stillness you can feel decades of pride, pain, and perseverance rise to the surface. "Excuse me," she says, her voice calm but sharp. "Did you really just say that to me? Do you know who you're talking to? I've inspired generations. Beyoncé, Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey. They've all said so themselves. Music changes with time, but legacy doesn't fade. And if you invited me here just to disrespect me, that says more about you than it does about me." The audience erupts in applause, thunderous, defiant. They know the truth when they hear it, but Tamron, instead of backing down, gets defensive. With irritation in her tone, she fires back, "Oh, so now I'm the villain for asking real questions? This is my show, Chaka. If you can't handle tough topics, maybe interviews aren't for you. Maybe you should just stay home and live off those old royalties." The boos start instantly, loud, relentless. Even her own audience has turned on her. Chaka stares at her, disbelief written across her face. Then she stands, slowly, powerfully. "Let me tell you something," she says, her voice steady but charged with emotion. "I've been in this business since before you were born. I've earned my place. I've earned my respect. And I will not sit here and let someone who just got a show lecture me about relevance. Who do you think you are?" Tamron rises too. The tension is unbearable. Two powerful women, face to face, live on air. Producers must be losing their minds in the control room. But Tamron doesn't de-escalate. She leans in, voice dripping with ego. "Who do I think I am? I'm the one people tune in to watch. You're just a guest. Honestly, you're proving exactly what I've heard. You're difficult, temperamental. That's why you don't get invited on shows anymore." That's it. The breaking point. Chaka pulls off her mic, drops it gently onto the chair. The crowd freezes, Phones rise into the air. Everyone's recording. She points a finger at the host, her voice trembling, but not from fear, from fury restrained by dignity. You want to know why I don't do many interviews? Because of people like you, people who mistake cruelty for honesty. You invited me here to celebrate my career, but you ambushed me instead. And you did it with a smile. That's not journalism, that's manipulation. Tamron crosses her arms, rolling her eyes. Oh, please, she says, stop being dramatic. This is exactly why people say you're hard to work with. You think everyone should bow down because of a few hits from 40 years ago. The crowd reacts immediately, some shouting for her to apologize, others too stunned to speak. The control room tries to cut to commercial, but it's too late. The damage is live, raw, irreversible. Chaka steps closer, not menacing but resolute. Her voice softens, strong, deliberate. Criticism isn't cruelty. What you did was personal. You wanted drama for ratings, and now you've got it. But what you've also done is reveal exactly who you are. Tamron's face reddens. Her control is gone. Then leave, she snaps. Get off my stage. Chaka lets out a small, disbelieving laugh. Oh, don't worry. I'm leaving. But before I go, let me say this to anyone watching. Don't ever let someone diminish you for their own spotlight. No matter how powerful they seem, you don't owe them your dignity. She turns and begins to walk away. The crowd rises, applause echoing through the studio. Some are shouting her name, others recording history. Tamron stands frozen, smile fading into panic. But just before Chaka exits the stage, she turns back one last time. You know what's really sad, she says. I admired you. I thought you had integrity, but you're just another person willing to hurt others for a headline. I hope it was worth it, and with that, she's gone. The Queen leaves the building, and the show is left in ruins. Tamron, trying to regain control, faces the camera, her smile brittle. Well, that was unexpected, she says, forcing a laugh. We'll be right back. But nobody's laughing. The moment goes viral within minutes. Millions see what happened, and the internet takes a side. Chaka's. Because people recognize authenticity when they see it. Chaka came in good faith, ready to celebrate her music and her journey. Instead, she was met with cheap shots, arrogance, and cruelty disguised as tough journalism. Tamron mocked her legacy, dismissed her achievements, and tried to reduce decades of art into a soundbite about the past. But through it all, Chaka stayed composed. She didn't shout, didn't insult. She defended her worth with elegance. That's class, that's grace. And Tamron? She had a chance to redeem herself. When Chaka first corrected her, she could have shown humility. She could have steered the conversation back to celebration. Instead, she chose ego. When she said, "You're just a guest," she revealed the truth. It was never about respect. It was about control. To her, guests aren't icons, they're props. But Chaka Khan has never been a prop. She's a pioneer. A black woman who built her name in an industry that didn't always welcome her. Who survived every storm, every label, every attempt to box her in. So when she said, "I've been in this business since before you were born," it wasn't arrogance, it was fact. It was history speaking truth to power. The audience saw it too. They clapped for grace. They booed ego. They watched real respect triumph over false authority. And when Tamron called her dramatic, that was gaslighting. The oldest trick in the book, used by those who can't admit they were wrong. But the world saw the truth. Chaka wasn't dramatic, she was dignified. The setup was obvious. She was promised a celebration and given an ambush. That's not journalism, that's betrayal. And when Tamron sneered about living off royalties, it exposed something deeper. Envy. A bitterness towards someone who earned timelessness through talent, not television time slots. Chaka's final words cut through the noise. You hurt people for a headline. That's not just a line, it's a mirror to an industry that often forgets humanity in the chase for clicks. And she was right. Tamron got her headline, but at the cost of her credibility. Because in that moment, power shifted. The host lost control. The legend reclaimed it. The ovation that followed wasn't just applause for Chaka's music. It was for her strength. Her refusal to shrink herself to make someone else feel powerful. And when she walked off, head held high, she reminded the world of something too often forgotten. Fame fades, but grace endures. So, Here's the question. Where's the line between journalism and cruelty? Between asking hard questions and tearing someone down? Tell us what you think. Was Tamron out of line, or was this fair game? Drop your thoughts below, because this isn't just about one interview, it's about how we treat the people who built the culture we love. Subscribe, stay tuned, and remember, in a world obsessed with scandal, respect is still the most radical act of all.